director.
Live.
Hi, it's Deanne Munoz, and welcome back to the Unleash Your Sexi podcast. And the crowd goes wild. Okay, I'm the crowd. Okay, you guys, today we are in season 4, episode
4.
4.
Season 4, episode 4.
Season 4, episode 4. The reoccurring number is 4, 4, 4.
Wow.
There we go. And it's 29th though, so 4, 4, 29. So let's forget 29. So 4, 4. You guys look at the spiritual meaning of 4, 4. If you're watching it, there's a reason we just said the numbers 44. Look it up. You know, I'm a spiritual little hippie / porn star. And here we go. Okay, so I have the beautiful Vasileia.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. You know what's funny is 4 was my basketball number back in church ball.
Shut up!
So shit, I might have to come ball on some people out here.
Oh, yes, bring it on.
This is old school days though.
Does it require
like
short shorts?
It wasn't like that. You don't want me in short shorts back then, but maybe now you still don't want me in short shorts. We're working on it.
Well, let me see first.
Right. We're working on it. Quarantine's been interesting.
You know, we get little quarantine pants.
Right, okay.
We're a little extra juicy.
Thank you. Right? We'll take
Extra
it.
juicy,
We'll take it.
Yes. Okay, so tell us a little about you.
Whew. Okay. I've been in LA for about 3.5 years. I work as a talk show host. Like, my big thing is making sure people take care of themselves.
Yes.
Like, put yourself first, go after your shit, live your life to the fullest, like, screw what everyone else has to say. Because literally, I didn't have that growing up, and I had some things happen along the road that, like, showed me how much I needed it. So I want to be what I didn't have for other people. So that's my mission.
I love the B part.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people say, I want,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying,
Yep.
I desire, and I go, there's no such, it's like trying to be pregnant. You either do it, you be it, or you don't.
Yeah, especially with pregnancy.
Right? Like, I'm trying, or I'm aspiring to.
Right.
It's like, you just be it. When people are like, I'm trying to be loving. No.
Nope.
You're either loving or you're not.
Yeah.
There's no in between of that.
And it's something that I feel like, especially as women, and I never like to like make it a gender thing, but it's nothing that we're taught to just be like, you're already enough. For me, it was like, okay, I grew up Greek, right? So it was like, I know you're saying,
Oh, yeah.
right? But like, you come up with these ethnic households and it's like, okay, where's your man at? Where's your family at? Where's your, all these other things? And I was like, can I be, like,
Yeah.
it took some shit in the fan for me to be like, I'm my own person.
Right.
And you weren't ever taught that. So I'm like, just be you, and then everything else, that's a cute, they're the plus one. Plus one. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, today's topic is how to find the love of your life.
Yep.
Okay, this is when she breaks through with some freestyling rap.
Oh, what? No, we gotta have some more tequila shots. If that's gonna happen.
Okay, by the end
It'll
of the
have 5
show, I'm
minutes.
guaranteed to get her some freestyling rap.
I grew up in 9th grade in Utah and I had a rap book, so it'll come out at one point.
Oh.
It'll come out at one point.
Well,
You just
okay,
gotta-
we're for sure.
You gotta give her a minute to come out.
Good. In 5 minutes, give her another shot.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Let's get her another shot.
Exactly.
Okay, so we were talking earlier. I was getting my makeup done.
Yeah.
And we both take a stand for touching, moving, and inspiring the world, especially women.
Yep.
And we were trying to come up with topics, what we thought were an area that we would both be able to like really zone in and be able to help others. And personally, right now in my own life, I just started dating again in February after like 2 years.
Yeah.
And that means like putting myself back out there. That means like being vulnerable, trusting, and it's been like a whirlwind of like emotions.
Yeah.
And it's like I have a toolbox
Girl, yes.
for life.
Yeah.
And there's some tools in dating I don't have. And not until you start dating somebody
Yeah.
you realize the tools you're missing.
And that's what it should be. Like,
Yeah.
because first of all, you're amazing. So it's like you're already whole, you're complete as you are. So like the person that comes in, you're like, they should add to your toolbox. You better read my hammer, baby. You better read my screwdriver, all these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
100 and 100 should come together. I don't want a 50-50. I don't want a 70-30.
Right.
I want you to be good. I want to be good. And if we make each other better, that's great. The one thing is women, and I didn't realize this, is your relationship is the biggest business venture you're going to go into, right?
Oh, really? That's a good example. Why?
Because so for me, like, I look at, for example, first of all, like, let's talk about a breakup. When you go down and you're in love, you go down.
Can we not talk about a breakup?
No, we're not gonna. Okay, I know. We're not gonna go there.
I'm just kidding.
But I feel like.
No, but we should go there.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we talk about like, oh, don't get in bad investments. So like, first of all, in life, you gotta just live regardless.
Exactly.
But like,
take risks.
your relationship is the biggest risk investment you will ever get into in your entire life. And we're not taught that. They're like, oh, yeah, they're like, go to high school, go to college, get married, make babies. But like, you weren't taught of, okay,
like that's so certainty. Certainties, get married, go to school, have a normal job. But relationships are a risk.
It is. It's a beautiful risk.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, right? But it just, for me, like we're talking about the topic of like finding love of your life, you already are the love of your life.
Yes.
So the moment,
Wait, say it again.
you are the love of your life. And the moment you realize that, your world changes. Your world changes.
It's
game
huge.
over.
It's huge.
game over.
So explain why this is important.
Because I already know, like for me, I always give this analogy on my show, like I have to fill up my glass first before I can fill up any other glass.
Ooh.
Right? Like attracts like, we're mirrors of each other. So the moment you're not moving out of desperation, of need, like for me, like, and I see in you, we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
I'm in a vibration where I'm like, I am so genuinely happy with where I'm at. I've never been happier at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm single. And anything else you bring to the table is an addition.
Right.
You're not going to complete me. You can come and you can leave and I'm still going to be good. And that's what makes the most healthy relationship, I think. But that's just not something that was ingrained in us.
Yeah, I feel, I know me as being Latina, coming from a Mexican household, it was like, no matter what a man does, you stay there. No matter what, I work things through.
Yep.
And I did that in my younger years through a very toxic marriage. And it wasn't until after the marriage that I learned, like, oh wow, like I get to love myself. When you love yourself, you're not going to tolerate anything that's toxic in your life.
No.
That is self-love, not accepting anything toxic, you guys. When you know you love yourself, when you're no longer allowing toxic people, energy, or frequencies, even it won't even be attracted to you, won't even come within your radar because you're vibrating so high above it of self-love, peace, serenity, joy, happiness.
Yep. And one thing I'll touch on, because you're Latina, I'm Greek, so our backgrounds came from like immigration. They came for a better life. Like it was more of, I don't want to say like they had to stay in what they had to stay in, but we have the opportunity to choose. Yeah, we get to. People like talk about like our generation, like, oh, you're opportunist. Yeah, because they got us this far. Like my grandparents came from an arranged marriage, right? They left their village poor.
They did?
Yeah, so like for me,
that's old school.
They hella old school. So for me, I'm like, they made these sacrifices for me to have a choice. So I'm not gonna just like roll over and deal with some dude that like ain't shit. For what? Y'all left the village for this?
Right.
But you know what I mean? So you have to also understand. Another thing with like find love of your life is like, who is giving you this advice?
Oh my god, I think that's gonna be a whole nother podcast.
I know. Girl, do I know.
Because I really felt something I'm learning. I just learned this lesson recently.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm 44, you guys. I just learned this recently. I was having a conversation with somebody, and him and I were talking about, we were having like our own issues and like dealing with everything, and at the end of the day, like he put me on game of, he said, at the end of the day, he goes, first of all, he's like, don't take advice from any of your friends. They're gonna hype you up to like be a bad bitch. They're gonna hype you up to be like, fuck him. They're gonna hype you up.
Though, but I'm with them.
And they're gonna hype you up
to
like, on a toxic mindset.
Yep.
And he was like, at the end of the day, he goes like, where are you getting your information from? He's like, who's putting these thoughts in your head?
Yep.
What information are you getting? He's like, and if you hear something that you don't think sounds right, like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, he goes, at the end of the day, like, am I going to believe a stranger or maybe somebody that maybe they're in a toxic relationship. Who am I to even take advice from a person
Right.
in a toxic relationship?
Unless you want that relationship.
Right, so they're giving it advice from their perspective.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so like me and the person I'm with or me and the person I'm dating, like at the end of the day, it's just me and him.
Yeah.
So let's talk through whatever needs to be talked about because there's 1,000 rumors out there about me. 1,000 rumors.
Girl.
And especially I feel like the fact that I am Kiara Mia, you know, and then like my whole Instagram, I feel like people automatically assume, oh, she's doing this, or she was with so-and-so, somebody else to be like, oh, do you know who she was with, or somebody else, and I'm like, honestly, like, I've literally had to...
And they would probably want to be with them too, okay? Haters.
And so I've literally had to screenshot conversations
Yeah.
proving, like, I didn't sleep with that person. And then the person I was with was like, you have to fucking feel stupid.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't my word good enough?
Yeah.
You know, I get it. I mean, I understand people are dishonest and everything, but at the end of the day was, if you would have came to me earlier, and this person assumed for a long time I had slept with somebody else. And I was like, that's insane. Like I own everything I do. I'm like, I'm all over Google having sex.
Oh,
Why,
why would I lie about it now?
the most normal thing I could do is go on a date.
I fucking love
Why
it.
would I lie about a date? Like, what am I gaining from that?
At all. Oh my gosh, okay, I have so much to say.
Go.
I'm one of those people where I'm like, I will not do something unless I can speak to it.
Right.
And it's like, and I think that's a great way to operate life. Like, just live, like, if you're gonna do it, you'll talk about it. If not, like, then maybe you should reevaluate yourself.
Right.
But the one thing we're talking about, like, taking advice from other people, the biggest thing that we weren't taught is, like, trusting your intuition. Like, we're talking about spirituality.
Yeah.
That, I'm constantly working on, like, my relationship with myself. Like, my gut instinct. How would I feel when I meet this person? How would I feel on my first date? I just got the most, like, toxic situation in a little bit ago. But on the first date, I remember him talking to me, and I'm like, this dude is not it. Guess what? 2 years later, I was still talking to this dude. Because I wanted to, like,
Right.
there's a level of, like, you just want to see how things play out. But, like, my intuition told me no. My friends are like, oh, he's the shit. He's cool. He's, like, he would be your perfect person.
Right.
Girl, when I'm telling you, he wasn't. So, but I knew that from day one. But I was listening to other people.
Right.
And we're not taught to, like, just trust your inner guide. That's why you have it. We're so conditioned from education, society, when I was, like, culturally,
Right.
listen to everybody else. No, you know.
Right. I think that's a really big thing, especially, is, I mean, our gut is our gut. And what I've also been noticing lately for me is, my intuition's like always right on.
Always.
But I have been finding that since I started dating, that means I need to be vulnerable, right? And so I'm going back into chapters that were left off, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, people that I loved. That
Like
haven't-
you reached dating them? Or
No,
were
but
you
it's like
evaluating
I
them?
never dated again after them.
Oh.
So I didn't get to deal with the trauma or the hurt of that relationship. So dating again is reopening everything.
Yep.
And it's like, whoa, like I
This is heavy.
thought me being single for 10 years
Nope.
was gonna heal me. I thought, oh, I'm independent, I'm single, but now the minute I'm back in, I'm back to where I was 10 years ago with that same
I have
triggers,
chills.
the
Yep.
same traumas,
If you wanna
the
add her
same
back to
fears, and the same reactions.
Yep. 100%.
And I'm thinking, what the hell? Like I've been independent 10 years, like I don't need anybody, and I still don't need anybody. Like I'm quick to walk out that door, my block game strong, which also isn't something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Because me cutting somebody off might not have been because of something that was real, but something from my past that was triggered that I thought they were gonna do
Yeah.
like my ex.
What you just said is I realize that on the head. It's like, you can do all the self-work by yourself. But the real work is when you start to, I don't want to say entangle, let's say entangle. This freaking entanglement.
I love that word though.
Right? It's so funny.
Like where did
But
you
once
get that word from?
I have,
It's not even in my vocabulary.
I don't know, but I just love it.
It
I
is.
feel like some headphones out here. But you know what I'm saying? These Apple Entangle headphones. But like, I realized that I'm like, because I did the same thing. I had a broken engagement. It was one of the hardest, worst things I've ever gone through in my life, but the biggest gift.
Yes.
And then I recently got back in the dating pool, and I was like, shit, like Leah single, Leah dating are two different people.
Yes. Oh my God.
No, it's
So
real,
true,
and that's why
yes.
and the biggest thing to anyone watching this is like, be gentle with yourself.
Mm.
It's a process. Like, you're not gonna like, and I look at growth as a fact that I recognize it. Because we used to be in these toxic situations
And not know it.
and not know. So at least now I can
Like,
be like,
I really
I'm toxic.
I really thought it was love, like him chasing me down, like
Yeah.
7 days a week. Like, to me, oh my God, he loves me because he's being psycho. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that wasn't love. It
No.
was somebody trying to control me.
Mhm.
Somebody trying to manipulate me.
Oh.
Somebody who was narcissist.
Oh,
Somebody who their only intention was to hurt me. But I thought it was love.
yep.
Because I was like, oh, well, they're coming after, they're chasing me. So they love me.
That's why it's so important for us to like identify within ourselves, like, what does love mean to me? Like,
Right.
what do I look for in a partner? And for me, like, I just turned 29, and I'm now telling you, like, I'm trying to have this conversation with myself because I don't know.
Right.
And that's okay to say that.
Yeah.
And I think some people are like, oh, you should have this perfect idea. What do you want? Well, this fairy tale. Honey, ain't no fairy tale. If anyone's gonna save yourself, you save yourself.
Yes.
Everything else, like I said earlier, is an addition.
Mm-hmm.
And once you, like, your soul, your bones, your blood, your being, your spirit, like, accepts that, that's when, like, things
You
come into your,
attract them.
yeah.
I love that. How to attract the love of your life. The answer is you are the love of your life.
It is.
I am the love of my life. She is the love of her life. I don't need any love of my life. What I can have is a partner
Yep.
who is the love of their life,
Yes.
who comes into my life to compliment me, who encourages me, who builds me up, who protects me, who has my back, who is solid and loyal. And it's not so much loyalty in the sense in my head, I don't really think so much like, oh, like you can't say this to people, like that doesn't come into my head. My idea of loyalty is someone who no matter what, they're not trying to hurt me.
Yep. That's the biggest thing.
Like they're thinking of my emotional welfare,
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual welfare, right? And my physical welfare. That I love you and I care for you, I'm always gonna be there. Even if we break up, I'm still gonna have your
Yeah.
back. Like I'm still gonna want your happiness.
Yes.
Like your happiness comes first. And not in a sense of ain't nobody's happiness come before mine, but at the end of the day it's like I love you so much, I want you to be happy. And if
Yeah.
it's not with me,
Then
that's okay, because I love me so much, and I love you that much, that you deserve the best, and I
Yeah.
believe you deserve the best.
100%. One thing too is like, I feel like I've fully understood this year everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So I know that I can date whoever or come into
Mhm.
a situation with whoever, and I'm like, if it's not me, that's a blessing for me, a blessing for you, and that's cool.
Yes.
And I think we're always looking for like our completion, our partner, our love of our life. Like, everyone that comes in is a gift.
There's
And
a
it-
lesson.
And there's a lesson, there's a gift, they're a teacher,
Yes.
they're a student,
Woo!
there's everything
They're
involved in it.
big motherfucking teachers.
Okay, and sometimes you get take down, and that's pretty too. Okay, so the point, the
Oh,
point,
that part's a plus.
right? Okay, but the point with that is like, just appreciate people in the moment. Like I had this conversation with my mother this weekend because it's my birthday and we're in St. George. And the funny part is like coming to my late 20s, I didn't think I'd be single. I didn't think I'd be living in LA, but I'm so much happier than I ever could have been and so much more proud of myself than I ever could have been. And she was talking to me about like, there's this idea that when you're single, people feel like you're unhappy. She's like, I just want you to find someone to be happy. And I'm like, Mom, I can't tell you, I've never been more happy than my life.
Where do people even get that idea from? Is it because when people get single, they're like, oh my God, I'm so heartbroken, I'm gonna die?
I think people project.
Projection.
I think people like want you to be in the scenario. Because my single friends, they want me single. My married friends, they want me married.
Married.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, but I literally finally told him, like, look, I am like doubling down on my career so hard because like, I know that my purpose on this space,
Right.
planet, whatever you want to call it, is so much bigger than finding someone. But the person that I find will help be like, my train's going. Either you want to come on, baby, or you don't want to get on. That's fine. Like, I'm
Right.
still going on my train. And that's what
Right.
people don't stay in that vibe, I feel
Right.
like.
Yeah. I think that makes so much sense because so often, like people, I almost get insulted. People are like, "Why are you still single?" And I'm like, "Why should I be in a relationship?"
Yeah.
Like, obviously I'm not in a relationship because I haven't found the right one.
Yeah.
Like, how about, shit, you're 44, like, you must have a lot of self-love.
It is
And
that.
you know what you deserve, you know what you want, and it hasn't come yet. And honestly, like, at the end of the day, like you said, I feel honestly, every single person I ever meet and date, I have learned crucial, important lessons,
Yep.
as I say, like, I have a toolbox.
Yep.
I have
It's amazing.
Like, I always get a new tool, so at the end of, like, seeing somebody, like, I don't do drama, like, I don't do hating, like, I'm not that person. Like, what value did you add to me? What did I take from this?
Yep.
And guess what? I just, like, chiseled a new tool.
Yeah.
You just taught me how to be really patient.
Yeah.
Or you just taught me, you know, to follow my gut instinct. Or you just taught me, like, I'm never gonna be second in nobody's life. Like, everyone gives me a separate pool, and I'm like, thank you, because my character grows, my integrity grows, and then with that, like, everything growing, it makes me, like, my toolbox is so full that I'm like, when I start dating someone new, I'm like, ooh, like, I have 3 tools for you.
She's showing up like Bob the Builder, like, what you need,
No,
baby? What you
literally,
need?
like, literally, at the end of the day, like, I really feel like I have a really big box of tools that when something comes
Seriously?
up, I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna get triggered, maybe something gets triggered with, when I get too vulnerable. When Deanne gets too vulnerable, Deanne wants to run. So a lot of girls are super needy and super clingy. Like, oh my God, don't leave me, like, I have to have you. And they're manipulative. I'm the opposite.
I am too. I'm like quick to like, where's the exit sign?
Yeah, no, when I get vulnerable, I'll push you away
Yeah.
or I'll pull away.
Yep, I'm the same.
Because I get scared that, oh my God, like, you have control now to, like, you now have the decision that you can hurt me. Because my feelings are out there. So I'm gonna be like, let me pull back a little bit, and I'll be like, waiting till like, I'm like, okay, I don't have any feelings anymore. Hi, I'm back.
Right, like we're desensitized.
Yeah, and then it's like 2 weeks later, and he's like, you can't. I've been told this so many times. Deanne, you can't come and go when you please. You can't do off and on.
Like we might be the same person.
And no, literally, and guys will be like at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I didn't think you liked me. And I swear to God, I feel this year I'm learning men have feelings.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like that, I realized too with dating is giving men the floor to have a conversation. Like saying things like, I don't want to tell a man to man up, because that's toxic.
Right.
That's me being toxic to him. Like,
Man up.
and I think also is like, we don't ever have the conversation of like, what does a relationship look like to you? Like, what does cheating look like to you? What does compromise look like to you? What are your, like, we don't ever, we just get, especially nowadays, like, it is a freaking free-for-all buffet at, like, Chuggarama. So, like, what's your plate gonna look like? My plate and your plate may be different, and we don't even have a conversation about it. And so people are so, like, for me, a man recently, like, came into my life, and I told God, maybe Jesus, universe, God is seeing it all, and I was like, do not bring one more of these guys. And he's amazing, but I'm just saying, like, I just was like, I just want to focus on me. I know I need to go balls to wall in my career, like, don't. But someone came into my life that was just like asking me these questions I've always wanted to have asked. Whether anything works out great with him or not, the fact is, like, I look at life as a mirror. Like, you and I had this conversation because we, like,
Mirroring each other.
and we see, like, so if you don't like something in your partner, it's probably telling you something about yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's just what it is.
So we have this exercise that we do, you guys,
Ooh,
in one
okay.
of my life coaching programs.
Oh, shit.
So what you do is you get in front of your partner, right? And I'll tell you everything about you that irritates me, right? So I might say you're controlling, or you get cold. You're hot. You're cold. You can be sarcastic, you know, and then you come back to me and be like, well, you're always late, or you're the opposite of controlling.
You're too
You-
beautiful, okay?
Like you don't make. It could be like
Right.
you don't make decisions.
Yeah.
You know, like I hate that you don't have no goals in life. Like, so it's interesting, right? So we stare at each other. And you tell the other person in front of you. So it could be your mom, your dad, it could be your best friend. But we're talking about relationships, because every girl can go in on her man, and every man can go in on his girl. So you guys stare at each other, and you put your hands above each other, right? So let's pretend that left hand's touching.
Okay.
Right? And then we say everything back and forth.
Yeah.
And then we go like this, and we say this is a mirror.
It is.
Right? So look, if you pull down the mirror, the person in front of you is a mirror reflection of the things you don't like in yourself.
That's powerful. That's very powerful.
So that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, it's made. You know what? Something crazy that I realized these last 3 weeks, I'm telling you, someone like they like knew I was turning 29. They're like, let's just flip this hoe onto her ass and just realize everything. But
Body slam.
body slam,
Emotional slam.
body slammed,
Life slam.
and like put me in a washing machine, all the things, right?
Wow.
But I realized like life is a video game, and we don't talk about it. So it's like, so you want to keep leveling up. So you want to talk about toxic men or toxic women or whatever people like. This stuff will keep coming back until you figure out the players, you figure out what you're doing wrong, what they're doing wrong to match to go to the next level.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, and it took me literally,
Shit,
I told you the guy the first date I knew, it took me till a couple weeks ago to be like, bro, what are you doing here? And it came back to something of like, me not feeling like I was worthy in childhood. Or me not feeling like I was enough. So I found a guy that showed me, again, that I wasn't enough, I wasn't worthy. So it created this addiction of like, let me prove to you I'm enough. Let me prove to you I'm this woman. I always think, and guess what do you think that put me?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it literally finally clicked where I was like, what are you doing? And it's never with someone that like, you would be like, oh yeah, he's great. It's always like, your friends are always like, really, dude? You know what I mean? Like, do you want me
Trust me, I do.
You're like, do you want me to come kick your ass? I was like, yeah, probably. I probably need it.
That's my friend's voices
Yeah,
all
you know
every
what I
day.
mean?
They're
They're
like,
like-
date somebody new.
My friend's like, this motherfucker again, I'm gonna kill her.
No,
I'm
they
gonna
are
kill her.
like, can you stop dating tattooed bald felons? I'm like, does anybody else exist?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that is such, okay, what you just said is groundbreaking because, so like what you see or what you look for is what you see. So I'm like, if you're always looking for tattooed bald villains, you will see that in people, right? So it's like so imagine like I look in this room, like we're saying, I might tell you everything that's red, okay? I tell you to close your eyes. What was blue? You can't tell me what was blue because you're always looking for red.
Yeah.
So if you've only known,
Don
red,
The Don Julio bottle?
right, the savior.
She knows him
And
very
that
well.
wasn't even me, my brother pointed that out.
But you know what I mean? You don't even know to look for blue because it's like, I'm like, until you understand your mind, you're psychologically looking for these red, until you heal that part of yourself, then I'll see blue. Then I'll see blue.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then maybe I'll see like a
I'm gonna have to start looking for
6.7
green.
You got
white
blue?
boy with blue eyes.
Everything.
Right.
We don't know.
That's so interesting. That is pretty true.
Coming up on 30 minutes.
Okay.
3 minutes.
That is, I like that. I like the video
Part two.
game part. So let's go back there because I feel like you just added to my toolbox.
Thank you.
Like I'm literally like, let me chisel like a new little tool. What size can we make this? Like, what's it gonna fit? Because as a woman,
Yeah.
or, I mean, just dating is like we have a video game, right? And we're all in love. First of all, it's about self-love, right? So self-love's at the winning part, and there's like a mate that loves himself as well. It's like I have to navigate through my insecurities,
Yeah.
my triggers, my traumas, my repeating patterns. So that first level is where I feel like a lot of people don't even get past it.
No.
And I feel like that's where like the toxic, like the people are shooting and the stabbing and people are attacking and people just get drawn into the first level where they never, like you said, they don't get to see the clear path.
No.
Because they're trying to fight with everyone at the moment as opposed to look, oh, there's a clear path.
Yeah.
How can I get from destination A to B
Yeah.
to get up leveled?
Yeah.
And that makes so much sense because at the end of the day, it's like a lot of us, we're repeating the same pattern with the same person. And it might not be the same person, but it's the same exact characteristics in every single person that I'm attracting.
Yeah. It is.
Like people wonder like, why do I keep attracting this kind of person?
Because you have not unlocked the next level. And he's not gonna lock it for you, she's not gonna lock it for you, you have to lock it in yourself.
Right.
Because you have to stop that, because I look at life as feng shui, okay? So
I love
it is
feng shui.
like feng shui, right? Like I have to stop you from coming in to allow better to come in.
Right.
I can't
Ooh.
both, how am I gonna have both?
So it's like a shield.
It is.
Like the, remember, did you watch the movie Wonder Woman?
Girl, that's my life.
You look like her.
That's the
Holy-
biggest,
Holy shit.
that
You
is
look
my,
like her.
that is my biggest
Remember her
dream.
big shield?
Yeah.
And she would put her shield over
Thank
and she
you.
would like jump on top of it and like fight the people and she'd be like,
I wear Athena every day, like that's always what I channel. Cause I didn't have the Wonder Woman, like my mom, I love my mom, but I'm like, I didn't.
How
do you say that? Like, I love my mom, and I'm like, I could never do what she does, but I don't also want to do what she does.
Right.
I can't be the center of the house. I can't be wrangling kids. I can't. But I respect it.
She just wasn't she wasn't like a superhero villain. Like, she wasn't a superhero.
It's a different type of
Our
energy.
mom is our mom, and I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of us, we learn love from our mom.
Oh.
I feel like a lot of us, especially coming like from very like ethnic families, like mom was like the patriarchal type that stood home,
She was the rock.
you know, cooked, cleaned, and took care of the home.
Everything you needed. And like literally, I wouldn't be shit without my mom.
Yeah.
My
So
mom's the best
other than
friend.
that, like she couldn't give us any of the tools.
Because our moms didn't have the self-love. They sacrificed it for the kids. I know you have a daughter as well.
Ooh, yes,
Right?
that's so true. Yes.
So even my mom, like, I challenge her, and it's like, I guess she's mom. She's in the empty stage or empty nest stage of life. Where I'm always like, but what about you? Like, what do you know? And anyone that's watching this, I don't care if you're 10, I don't care if you're 15, I don't care if you're 96 or 69. Sure, let's throw it out. Right? Let's throw it out. Let's plug that.
What's really on her mind?
Okay, let's do it, right? What's on my mind? Yeah, we are in a drought. But like, right? It's never too late.
Right.
To like, I just got tattooed last week on my back. It's Know Thyself in Ancient Greek because,
Is it your first tattoo?
no, it's
Okay.
like my sixth. It's my
Okay.
sixth. But yeah, I have baby ones. I'm like little,
Okay.
we're working on them more. But like that's the biggest thing that no one as a human was really told, like, know yourself first.
Right.
Whether you're a mom, whether you're a husband, dad, kid, whatever it is, like just work on, like, you, uncover you.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times is with that, I feel like unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people aren't even told that.
That's what I'm saying. No.
Like you tell, if I was to tell like certain people, work on yourself, they'd be like, it's all about me.
Mhm.
I want.
Mhm.
It's my way, or no way. Like, there's just such a closed-mindedness about, I feel like it's being vulnerable by saying, I'm gonna work on me, and that means I gotta take responsibility now
Yep.
for the decisions I made in my life.
Yep.
God forbid somebody be like, oh my God, I'm responsible for my life and where I'm at right now.
Right?
People always wanna blame other people. Oh, this is because of this, or this is because of that. We're grown.
Yep.
I'm 44. I have if you're not a child anymore, you have zero excuses to be who you are. You can't say, well,
Yep.
this is because my dad didn't love me. You already know then. You have issues because your dad didn't love you. So you have a decision today
Yeah.
to be different and know that you are loved. So you already know, but guess what? People are like, no, I'm gonna stay in victim mode. And I'm gonna be like, no, like, but this happened to me. For the decisions they've made or the decisions they didn't make.
Yeah, it's everything. It's what it
They
is.
want to blame other people
It
all
is.
the time.
It is. I had like a traumatic failed engagement a few years ago. It was like the most wild shit. But the one thing I could say about it is, like, when it all ended, I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I liked, because we were together for 7 years. So my identity was wrapped up some in that relationship. So I was like, we were moving with his career. He played in the NBA. So I was like,
Right.
okay, we'll move. It's cute. It's comfortable. It's whatever, right? But I was riding passenger to my own freaking life.
Right.
So when shit hit the fan, now I'm like, I'm in the driver's seat.
Where am I going?
Like, I'm gonna drive this car. So if you
Right.
want to come in, like I said, the train's going, wherever you want to go, it's a total different scenario. But like, you have to go through that. Like, rock bottom to me is not knowing yourself, and I hit that. And I hit that.
that's
I couldn't not even told you my favorite color. Now I can tell you everything. Now they're like, Leah, okay, you specific.
I get chills.
Now they're like, Leah, you too specific. I'm like, my God.
No, you know what? I feel like that's exactly what happened coming out of my marriage.
Same
because
thing.
I met him at 14.
Wow.
Met him at 14.
Okay.
You know, we got divorced at 26. We were off and on, but he was so controlling. Like, all I knew was everything he liked and how, like, I had to tiptoe around him. And I had to like serve him, and it was like, if he didn't like this, so I didn't
You're on
like it.
eggshells.
If he didn't like this, I didn't like this. I wasn't allowed to like anything without his permission. Like,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, no, you don't. You don't like that outfit. I'd be like, okay, I don't.
Yeah.
So honestly, I remember leaving and being like,
Right.
what do I do? Like, I literally was like, what do I do with myself? Like, I don't know what music I like.
It's real.
Literally, I only knew the music that he played. And like how do I, he was so like, it was so weird. Like, he'd be like, you only wear your hair down and you always have makeup on. Always. Like, no matter what, like, you always look your best.
These
You
dudes.
always have to look really nice
Yeah.
and pretty. And like now, like if you know me now, like I never wear makeup. And I'm like, you know what? Deanne doesn't like wearing makeup.
Yeah.
And I've done so many
Because you
podcasts
are
without my makeup on.
Perfect the way you freaking are.
And that came with, self-love. Like I literally know, like in my heart, like I feel like I love so deeply and I'm such a good person. Like that to me, self-love. I love others and everyone with so much love.
Yeah.
Like there's no vindictiveness, there's no anger, there's no pettiness, there's nothing, even my vibration.
In the same way.
That to me, I feel self-love.
I feel the same way. And I've always felt that about you.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I met you and I was like, okay, this girl's got it. Because it's just that, like, especially even with women too, there's like,
Especially.
friends, whatever, like when there's no competitiveness, because I know what's for you is for you, what's for me is for me, and there's room for everybody to eat.
I tell you, there's billions of clients in the world. There's billions of opportunities. There's staggering opportunities for you
Yeah.
and me. Whether even if they're the same industry with like the same like target audience, there's billions of people.
Right.
Billions. Like there's enough for everybody.
Yeah. It's so true.
And I feel like women or men, like they live in this scarcity mindset.
That's
like there's
what it is.
not enough. I'm in fear. Like I'm not gonna get it, or I can't share. Like you can't operate from scarcity.
No.
You got to operate from abundance.
Girl,
I have abundance of love. I have abundance of staggering opportunities for business, contract, $1 million contract, $1 million clients.
Okay.
People are being lined up right now for me in the future. People are being lined up right now for you in the future. Matter of fact, if I know somebody that you need something, guess what? I'll make a phone call.
because I will help you because I see that in you. You know the craziest thing is everything you've ever wanted that I've come to realize, right, was inside you for a reason for you to honor, right? It's yours.
It's our calling.
It is. But guess what? You got to line up with that shit. You know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna, you know what I mean? How am I gonna step in these things if I don't if I don't love how is that? How is that gonna happen?
Ooh.
I feel that to my core.
Oh, like-
my only job and our only job is to wake up every morning, love yourself. How do I wake up with joy? How do I wake up with like
Yes.
my highest vibration? I look at ourselves like a car, right? You wake up in the morning, or when you go to drive your car, you have to fill it with gas before you can go anywhere. So like, how do you gas yourself up in the morning? Are you listening to good music when you're getting ready?
Right.
Are you not rushing yourself? Are you doing affirmations in the mirror? Are you just like waking up in gratitude?
Right.
This is where I'm telling you, like I hit my rock bottom. I moved back to Utah, even though like moving back with your family is not rock bottom, but in your personal as like
Right,
a woman,
right.
when you're with your man, like that's your rock bottom. Like when you have to leave everything. I now realize like I create my own reality. So I will never be a victim because I'm going to always play a part in my life. So anyone watching this is like, you feel a type of way? Fix your shit. Change it. No one stays hoes these days. You save yourself.
Yeah,
You know?
it is true. Whew. In? Okay. Okay, so let's go back to, you said so much good stuff and I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was like, I feel like there's,
Always
like,
feel free,
I
just
was
shout it.
like, there's so many podcasts to go. Like you said so
I
much,
know,
like important things. So let's go back into, I feel like, okay, so we already talked about the topic,
Yeah.
how to find the love of your life. Guess what? You are the love of your life.
You baby.
Okay, so now I really want to help support everybody watching is staying in vibrational frequency with the love of your life. So you are the love of your life. So like we said, and not until you believe it will you attract
100%.
the love of your life. So if you do not love yourself, how are you going to attract the love of your life? You're going to attract men or women on a lower vibrational frequency
Yeah.
that will match your inner beliefs that you are not lovable, that you will be abandoned for the rest of your life, that you shouldn't be treated better, that, you should be abused.
Yeah, everything.
Because that is the inner voice that you are telling yourself.
Yep.
So I really want to stick to let's support people to get into the vibration
Yeah.
of I am the love of my life, which means I'm attracting the love of my life. And like you said, let's talk a little bit more about, let's get a little specific with people, is starting to create, what does the ideal relationship look like for you? Right? Because I feel
Yeah.
it's a blueprint. And
people
people
can
don't even
change your blueprint
and
at any
people
time.
don't even have one. I think that's the problem. People just go around meeting people and they're like, oh my God, I love you. Maybe because you're sexy, or there might be a connection, but it's toxic. At the end of the day, like I have one of my life coaches, and she had told me, let's make a blueprint for your love life. And I was like, what is a blueprint? I'm thinking, I know what I want, but did I really? When she sat with me, I was like, holy fuck. So she's like, let's do a list of every single must-haves. And I was like, hey, what does that exactly mean? Must-haves means if they don't have any of these,
non-negotiable.
yeah, exactly. I cannot be with you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, loving, kind, romantic. And she was like, it was so generalized. And she was like, And I was like, what? I'm like, that seems like the love of my life. And she was like, no. She's like, is this person emotionally available?
Yeah.
Is this person single?
Oh, are you single? Are you living on our couch single? You don't have sex anymore single? Like, where are you?
She did.
We're
she
married,
was like,
but we ain't. Oh
no,
my God.
she literally.
Lowe's was single.
I was like, I was like,
oh my God.
I'm like, that wasn't even on my must-have list.
Yeah.
She's like, so guess what? She goes, you're gonna attract somebody loving and romantic. She goes, but they might be married. And I was like, holy shit. She was like, be very specific. They must be single. They must be emotionally available. You know, they must be supportive. Like, she went really specific, and I was like, I never ever thought that specific.
Yeah, 100%. I think more powerful to me, like, not only knowing your yeses, but knowing your nos.
Yes.
Because for me, like, the crazy thing is I came out of a relationship, and everything that I wished an ex would have had, this new guy showed up with, but he had all these red flags that I ignored.
Ooh, like what? Okay, so tell me what's on your no list. We're gonna give you guys an example of your like we call them hard no's. That means let's do a hard nose. Like, these are absolute. If anybody has these red flags where you know for a fact you're walking away, what are your hard no's? Like, absolutes, like the minute this happens, you're out the door. Like, no questions asked.
I watch how people treat strangers. Like, how people treat someone that can't do anything for them, I feel like it's such a character thing. Ooh. That's a big one for me. Family, like, my family's my number one. So, like, I'm not saying you have to have a perfect relationship with your family, but just seeing, like, how you value people, how you value that. I think those are my two top.
I think that says a lot, because I've dated some people who are always having, like, actually they're the cause of the drama in their family. I'm like, you've had falling outs with everyone in your family every month, every year. Like,
I don't understand it.
Like, that says a lot about the person, not about your family.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's one thing if the family started, but like I knew like they started it, and I was like, why are you always yelling at your family? Why are you always mad?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's the way I'm very big with language with people, like the words that they use. So I'm just like, is always like, oh yeah, my boss this, my mom this. But like, everyone is always like the culprit. You're always a victim.
Yep.
Where I'm like, we always play a role in our life, whether we want to or not. So for me, like, I always play over accountable, which is something I'm working on. Like, no, that's not yours. Don't own that. But like, listening to the person I'm with, like, what's their language like?
Right.
It talks to you about like their inner thought process.
Right. If they're selfish or not. Mm-hmm. Selfish people will always be blaming.
Always.
And people who are accountable will say, okay, well, this is what part I had in it.
Yeah.
Like, and I always tell people, I think like that's an important part, because at the end of the day, like, no matter what happens to me, even if somebody wronged me, I still had a part.
Yeah.
You did. I either allowed it,
honey,
and stood.
Yep.
That's me having a part in it.
Yep.
Doesn't mean I had a part to do with the ill will that was done on me, but I have a part is, how did I react to it?
Yeah.
Did I stay?
Did you? Because you continued to allow it.
Yeah.
Are you a
Did I
doormat?
allow it?
Where are you at?
So there is always a part for everyone to look at. We all have a part in everything, every chaos and drama in our life. We are the cause of it, because we can either snip it in the butt and get rid of it, or we can stay entangled in it.
Girl.
Entanglement. Do we get the rap yet?
Entanglement.
Entanglement.
Hey. For real though, it's real.
Right. So it's either A, I'm responsible for staying, or I'm responsible for making the self-love choice and leaving a situation that is toxic. So let's help people figure out, what is a toxic relationship?
That's actually a really good question. I've always, you get to the point where, like, you know, I always tell people to date themselves, right? Know themselves, know yourself in and out, right? So anytime we go to post on Instagram, Facebook, all these things for validation, right? Or self-promotion. It's obviously different things, right? But if you're doing it in a relationship, like, oh, I just want him to see me, or I want to get really pretty because I want him to compliment me, or
Right.
I want to do these. If I'm doing something, if you're ever doing something for the hope of something else, there's a level of toxicity in yourself that you have to evaluate, because you should just be. That's my thing. For me, like, I'm educated, but I'm very inappropriate. I make dick jokes, but I can hold a conversation at a corporate, boardroom, whatever it is, right? And I did pageants in the past. So I'll date someone and I'll go into I'll go on a pageant girl, because I know how to be proper. I know how to speak and act the role, right? That's not who I am.
Right.
So it's like me being like, no, Leah, just be you. Just flow.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned with my own toxicity, but I think everyone's different.
Oh.
How do you feel?
I like that's a good. I like your point. Is I do feel like a huge part. I feel which another conversation I've had recently too is, unfortunately, a lot of girls are very manipulative when they meet somebody.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone's like on this good behavior at the beginning. Like they're literally the Betty Crocker homemade
All of
thing
that.
because they're trying to control somebody into believing something not. But at the end of the day, it's like we talked about it. There's like a 3 to 6 month mark where you will see this person's true self, and at that point, then that person's gonna leave you.
That's true.
They're not gonna want to be with you. And like, how many times do you got to recycle that pattern? Because a person thought they weren't enough the way they were.
Yeah, that's
they
it.
had to be somebody they weren't. Because I know if today now, like when I meet people, I'm like, I'm Kiarmia. Like I'm actually kind of the opposite. I'm like a dump truck. Like all my shit.
Now you get to that point where you're like,
I dump it. I'm like, here's all my shit, and I'm like,
and then they're still there. You're like, okay, so you crazy. Okay, so you crazy.
I'm like,
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you fuck with me.
Okay.
Fuck with me.
So now I'm like, so what are your issues that you're good with this situation? Right. But it's so funny. But you get to that point where you're like, the biggest thing in life is I'm one of those people like, I don't want my choices taken away, and I don't want to take anyone's choices.
Yes.
So it's like I just put my shit on the table. It's like you like this or you don't, stay or leave, and then vice versa. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing, I think.
No, and I feel because I am honest like that now, and because I really am like, I'm Kiarmia, this is what I do, this is what's going on, and like if you can handle the backlash, like let's fuck with each other. If you can't handle the backlash, you better walk out now, because shit's gonna.
Here, baby, take this lipstick and then go ahead.
Give your new girl a pair of lashes for
right,
me.
go ahead.
Tell her to go to Tameless.
See you, baby.
Tameless
wherever. Yeah,
eyelashes.
go ahead. Here's your parting gift. Thanks for trying. Thanks for playing.
It came with some eyelash glue and some eyeliner. She'll love it because she's definitely not. Like I'm not that person, and I find that interesting because I am so transparent. And I am so loving and real that I can say I always attract really amazing men.
They've probably gotten better and better
with good
through
hearts,
life, right?
good souls, and who are solid.
Yep.
Like they're not perfect. Trust me, they're not perfect. But they're like the minute we meet, like they're like, here's who I am. I'm like, well, here's who I am. And we're like, but we both have like amazing, beautiful hearts and souls. I'm like, all that other shit, like we could talk about it and work through it.
That's it.
Like somebody with like you said, like somebody who's like selfish or evil or like vindictive or like always trying to cause me harm. Motherfucker, you out the motherfucking door. You got me fucked up.
You don't even bring those people anymore.
I can't do abusive relationships. I can do issues.
Well, because you're compassionate, because you know your own shit.
I could do entanglements.
Like, yeah.
But I can't do you treating me like shit.
Right.
Never. That will never happen.
Yeah.
Never. That's on my hard no list.
Because we passed that level of the video game.
Yes.
Right?
So that's why I tell people, like, you give me someone real, someone authentic, somebody with a good heart and soul. Like, we can work on the rest of the shit because I ain't perfect. You ain't perfect. And I also know that when I first meet people, I'm always like, I always say it like this. Who's the last person that fucked you up? Because I need to know.
You have pen and paper?
Right? Because I need to know what I'm dealing. I need to know what I'm dealing with.
Right.
I need to know what I'm dealing with.
It's fair. It's fair because I always look at that like I don't feel like your new person should ever have to climb a mountain that someone else built.
Right.
But you should at least recognize the mountain and the walls that I have, the scar tissues that I have, because they're there.
And I feel
that's where the respect
going
comes
into
from.
dating. A lot of people don't do that anymore. It's all about well, I'm dating you. It's all about me. How come you don't love me? Or how come you don't give me attention? Why don't you do this? But they never took the time to say, what just happened in your last relationship?
Yep.
What happened in your childhood with your mom? Maybe, you know, there's triggers and traumas that people don't take the time out to think about. Okay, well, maybe this girl's a little
Yeah.
crazy. Let me find out why. You know, and then from there,
But crazy is the most annoying label that doesn't even exist.
yeah.
Like,
So it's like, you know, like the person's solid. Like, I'll fuck with you, and I'm gonna grow with you. That's my new word. It's grow with you.
Yep.
I'm gonna grow with you, but you gotta grow with me too.
Can I touch on this? So this is my thing that I'm so big on now. And again, I think it's more with females. Is like the moment we meet someone that's dreamy, we're like, oh, I'm already thinking about the wedding. I'm already going, but like, shit, I already know what I'm gonna wear. I know my push present is like whatever, all these things.
We're having
right?
twins. I know their names.
Right, exactly. But the biggest thing is we just don't stop to get to know each other. Like just like I just want, like I'm telling you, someone else I met recently. I'm just like
take off the veil, that like dreamy
The
thing,
mask.
and find out who they really are.
it is. It's all that. It's just like, but in general, I'm like, let me just get. I'm one of those people. I'm like, first, let me just get to know you as a human being. Maybe as a best friend. Maybe to a relationship. Maybe something serious. Like that is literally like the steps in my mind now. I'm not looking for a husband right now. I'm looking for a best friend and a partner. And that shit can revolve. You know what I mean?
No, can they like? Wish we could like double like boomerang that. Boomerang,
You know?
boomerang. Because I really feel like what I'm learning in this whole dating game is it can feel really passionate the first week or two, and then it kind of dies off.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that it dies off. It's like I had an idea of who I was trying to make you be, and then you weren't. So it's really about when you meet somebody. Like I'm learning not to fantasize anything. It's simply you are you. Like you know, you are Vasileia. I just met you, and I'm literally giving you a blank canvas that you're gonna show me who you are. I'm not gonna put
Potential
a
on me.
picture on it. Like I'm not gonna paint this picture for you. I'm gonna allow you to be you, and and also like I think a lot for women and men, it's like the not rushing stage.
What? Yeah,
Like what's the rush to control? What's the rush to make them love you? What's the rush to make them like, no, you can't leave. Like I have to be the only one. Like
Why?
for what?
Because
What if you're not the one and you fall in love within like 2-3 weeks?
let me save y'all some heartache. Don't do that. Let me save you some money.
Like
Some
I just
heartache.
don't
Don't do
get the need to have to control someone. Like right at the
You know,
beginning.
It's we have to decondition ourselves.
Right.
Because like I said, women were fed the fairy tale. Like, who's your Prince Charming? Who's gonna save you? Who's like your ever after? Like again from earlier, like I'm my ever after. So like if you wanna come on, that's great.
Yeah.
You can be your Prince Charming. I'll still be like the queen of my own kingdom. We can come
Right.
together and do this or not, you know?
Yep.
So to me, like that's the biggest factor, that people don't just stop and look at it from that standpoint.
I love it.
You know, we're looking to be completed. Once you're complete and you're happy, it is such a different game. I'm telling you, I've never, like, COVID's going on right now, but I've never been more at peace,
Right.
more excited, and more knowing that like what's for me is for me, what's not is not.
Yes.
That's it.
What's not is not. I think that's a huge issue that
Yeah.
I think that's the major cause of people's anguish or heartache
Yeah.
is they don't want to face the fact that it's not meant for them.
Yeah.
And they're like scrambling so hard and struggling to control that this person can't leave, this person can't leave. Like I have to be the one. And it's causing this like stress and anxiety and heaviness that's like overtaking their soul. Like God's ripping this person out of your life. Let go.
Like, you know
You're
why?
causing fucking anguish.
Because we have issues with failure. So we look at like if something didn't work, it's that we failed. But like for me, I'm like sometimes quitting early is winning. You know, me and my friends are like, oh no, we've been married for this long, we have kids, whatever. I'm like, what are you showing them? To just stay in some half-ass shit?
Exactly.
Like for real though. And
I talk about this all the time.
there was a quote that I read one time that like hit me in the clit, and it was like
And it was like,
that was like learn to let go of something without it having claw marks on it. You know what I mean? Like learn to just be like,
learn to let go of something without having claw marks on it. Damn. Shit. You're preaching over here. Dang.
it's real.
Learn to let go without having claw marks on it. Like, no,
We always want to, yeah, and it's
you
just like,
can't leave.
Right, but the more self-love, you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're going to buzz in real quick our sponsors. So we want to give a shout out to Tameless Me for, you ready? At Tameless Me, we want to thank you for these gorgeous eyelashes. Men, I know you're watching, and I know you're thinking, how does Deanne, aka Kiarmia, have those beautiful,
Seriously,
flirty
though.
eyelashes? Guess what? The secret is Tameless Me eyelashes.
They're beautiful.
Men go. Women love eyelashes. They love makeup. They love anything girly.
Seriously.
Go to. We're gonna plug it in right now. Tameless Me. They also hooked me up, you guys, with. We have some eyeliner. We have a liquid lipstick. And we also have another liquid lipstick. So men, head on over to the website. Ladies, go check them out. These eyelashes are big, beautiful, and sexy as fuck.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
They're very dramatic and they're gorgeous. Go check them out right now. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Next sponsorship is we have Princess P Jewelry. We want to give a shout out to Princess P Jewelry. Thank you for being one of our favorite sponsors who, unfortunately, all the jewelry is at my house because the last podcast I wore it home.
That's how you know it's good. Some people don't wear the products. That's how you know you have a good jewelry.
So Princess P, if you guys even know anything about her, she's one of Instagram's biggest influence for jewelry. Everything she has is ridiculously, amazingly priced. You can have the most exquisite, beautiful jewelry, and it's all at the best price ever.
I love it.
Make sure you head over to her website right now. Tell her that Kiara Mia sent you. And last but not least, we have Pretti Petals. Men, women love
yep.
flowers.
Yep.
We love roses. So these are 1 year lasting roses. Look, these are white roses, men. So you know, white roses turn brown.
That might last longer than the relationship.
Wait, they last long. They last longer than my dating life.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Don't.
I can't get past 30 days.
You want her to think about you forever?
Yes. Oh, seriously, right? Because the next guy's like, "How long those roses been
Right.
here?"
It's like-
You're like, "Shit, a year."
My mom gave those to me.
I swear. Okay, so look, it also comes with a pretty little jewelry box, man. You can stick all of the lip glosses and eyelashes in there. Head over to Pretti Petals right now. Send your girlfriend and surprise her. Order it for her work. Send it home. Do something special, men. Women love to feel special and cared for, and they love romance, and they love heartfelt gifts. So if you've never bought her anything, for sure, get her something. Let her know you care.
Right.
If you normally buy her stuff, buy her some more.
I'm with that.
So hit up our sponsors. We love all of our sponsors. Thank you. And we want to say, Vasileia. So used to people's Instagram names. Let's go ahead and plug in some of your social medias.
Okay.
So let's plug in her Instagram. So she also has her own show. Make sure you guys go follow her. You already seen, she is very intelligent. She is led by spirit. She has a message and a calling. And thank you for taking a stand for your dreams and that calling in your heart.
Thank you.
Because you are meant to touch, move, and inspire the world.
You're so sweet. That means so much to me. Thank you, baby
Yes,
girl.
so thank you. Like, I recognize that in you, and I know it takes courage to do that. So thank you, because this podcast was going to be on YouTube. And it's going to be seen forever. So
I love that.
Everyone that sees it, there's a reason why they're supposed to watch this.
I believe that with everything.
And you're part of that message.
Thank you.
So
thank you, baby girl. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm honored to be here.
So let's plug in her YouTube.
Yes, my.
Oh, okay. So make sure you go follow her YouTube. Go like, subscribe, and comment on her videos. Make sure you go to her Instagram, give her a follow. And the same thing, show love on all her photos. We love love. We hope that you guys took some inspiring, important messages from today. We are here to support you and to help you to become and be more every single day.
I love that.
Feel free to DM us, ladies, if you
Slide
have
in.
anything
Slide
to
in.
talk about. Like, we're here to support you. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Until next week. Ta-da!